Have you ever woken up in the morning, swung your legs over the side of the bed, and felt like your joints had aged 20 years overnight? That ache, that stiffness, that quiet fear whispering, will this get worse, is something millions of people over 50 know all too well. Arthritis isn't just about sore knees or swollen fingers. It steals energy, independence, and joy from simple moments. Walking with a grandchild, gardening in the sunshine, even cooking your favorite meal. But here's the surprising truth. While medicine plays a role, the foods on your plate may have just as much power in calming that inflammation as any pill. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Wellness Blueprint Over 50. Today we're diving into the top 3 meats that can help soothe pain, reduce inflammation, and restore a bit of freedom to your joints, one delicious bite at a time. I remember a patient of mine named Carol. She was 71, a retired school teacher, and she came to me after months of hobbling through her mornings with swollen knees. She loved walking in the park, but the pain had become so sharp that she'd stopped leaving the house except for appointments. When we sat down together, she sighed and said, "I just don't feel like myself anymore." Now Carol had tried painkillers, creams, even gentle yoga, but the breakthrough came when she made a small but mighty shift in her diet. She began eating salmon twice a week. Within a month, she noticed not only less stiffness, but more energy. By her 3rd month, she was back to walking daily. So what is it about salmon that makes such a difference? Imagine your joints as the hinges on a door. Over time, if those hinges are rusty, every movement feels stiff and creaky. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in rich supply in salmon, are like the finest oil you could drip onto those hinges. They quiet down the squeak, smooth the movement, and protect the structure from wearing out. The science here is remarkable. Studies in journals like Annals of the Rheumatic Diseases have shown that omega-3s actually reduce the production of inflammatory chemicals, tiny messengers in the body that stir up swelling and pain in joints. When fewer of those messengers are around, the body feels calmer, lighter, and freer. But the benefits don't stop there. Salmon is also a wonderful source of vitamin D, a nutrient so many people over 50 are deficient in. Low vitamin D doesn't just weaken bones, it can worsen inflammation and even dampen the immune system. With salmon, you're giving your body a double gift: omega-3s that fight inflammation and vitamin D that strengthens bones and muscles. Think of it as feeding your joints a meal they've been craving for years. Now, I know some of you may be hesitant. Maybe fish has never been your favorite, or perhaps the idea of cooking it feels overwhelming. The good news is salmon is one of the most versatile foods you can bring into your kitchen. You can lay a fillet on a baking sheet, drizzle it with olive oil, squeeze a little lemon, sprinkle herbs, and in 20 minutes you'll have a dish that feels both gourmet and healing. If you prefer lighter meals, flake cooked salmon over a salad with avocado and greens. It's refreshing, nourishing, and gentle on digestion. For those who enjoy comfort food, salmon patties with a bit of whole grain breading make a simple, satisfying dinner. One tip I always share with patients: whenever possible, choose wild-caught salmon. It tends to be richer in omega-3s and carries fewer contaminants than farm fish. It also has a firmer texture and deeper flavor that many people come to love. And remember, you don't need to eat salmon every day. 2 or 3 servings a week is enough to make a noticeable difference in joint pain relief and overall well-being. When Carol first started, she was skeptical. She said, "Brian, are you really telling me a piece of fish is going to do more for me than my pills?" I smiled and said, "Not more, but together, food and medicine can work like a team." And that's exactly what happened. Salmon didn't replace her medications, but it reduced her need for higher doses, and it gave her back the freedom to walk without fear of pain. So picture this. Every bite of salmon you take is like sending little firefighters into your body. They move quietly, gently putting out the flames of inflammation that have been smoldering in your joints. Over time, the fires burn lower, the hinges move smoother, and life feels just a bit more like yours again. That's the power of salmon. More than a meal, it's medicine on a plate. A few years ago, I met a gentleman named Frank. He was 68, a grandfather of 4, and a proud gardener. But arthritis had crept into his hands and knees, leaving him frustrated. "Doctor," he told me. I can't even open a jar without feeling like my joints are on fire. His biggest worry wasn't himself. It was that he couldn't lift his grandkids or kneel to tend his tomatoes. When we reviewed his diet, I noticed he leaned heavily on processed meats and red meats from fast food, both of which can worsen inflammation. I suggested he start swapping some of those meals for simple chicken dishes, prepared with anti-inflammatory spices. Within months, he wasn't pain-free, but he was stronger, more mobile, and he smiled as he showed me pictures of his thriving garden. Chicken may sound ordinary, but when it comes to arthritis pain relief, it's a quiet hero. Think of it like a reliable old friend who shows up when you need them most. Not flashy, not exotic, but steady and dependable. What makes chicken so valuable for older adults is its role as a lean, protein-packed source of healing fuel. Protein is the building block of our body. It repairs damaged tissue, supports muscle strength, and helps rebuild the cartilage cushions in our joints. When arthritis wears away at those cushions, every step can feel like bone scraping against bone. By eating enough lean protein, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to patch up and protect those worn areas. Chicken also carries natural compounds like glucosamine and chondroitin, the very same nutrients you'll find in many over-the-counter joint supplements. These substances help keep cartilage resilient and joints flexible. So instead of always reaching for a pill, why not get them in a form your body can easily recognize? Your dinner plate. Alongside that, chicken provides B vitamins, iron, and zinc, nutrients that boost energy, support nerve function, and reduce inflammation at the cellular level. It's like equipping your body with a toolkit designed to ease pain and keep you moving. Now, some people worry about chicken contributing to inflammation, but the key lies in the cut and preparation. Skinless chicken breasts and thighs are low in saturated fat, which means they're less likely to fuel inflammatory processes in the body compared to fattier meats. They're also gentle on digestion, which is important for many older adults who find heavy meals leave them sluggish or uncomfortable. Cooking chicken doesn't have to be complicated. For Frank, I recommended starting with something simple. Grilled chicken with lemon and rosemary. It became his favorite. He marinated the chicken in olive oil, lemon juice, garlic, and rosemary overnight, then tossed it on the grill. The flavors were bright and healing. Garlic and rosemary both carry natural anti-inflammatory benefits, which added a medicinal edge to his meal. Another easy option is slow-cooking chicken thighs with carrots, onions, and turmeric. When he came home after a long day in the garden, a fragrant, nourishing meal was waiting for him. The versatility of chicken means you'll never run out of ideas. Stir-fry it with broccoli and ginger, bake it with paprika and olive oil, or toss it into a hearty soup with beans and leafy greens. Each version supports your joints in a different way, giving your body a steady flow of healing compounds without overwhelming your taste buds or budget. What struck me most about Frank was the way this small change restored his confidence. He said, "I thought my best years were behind me, but I feel like I've been given a second chance." His grip strength improved, his knees ached less, and he was able to carry watering cans again without wincing. It wasn't magic. It was consistent, small choices adding up day after day. So if salmon is the firefighter that puts out the flames of inflammation, chicken is the builder who repairs the house once the fire's out. It quietly restores strength, patches the weak spots, and allows you to get back to the life you love. Arthritis may still knock on your door, but with the right nourishment, you can keep it from moving in and taking over. Chicken gives you that chance. Simple, nourishing, and powerful in its quiet way. When most people hear beef, they immediately picture greasy burgers or heavy steaks that leave them feeling sluggish. Many of my patients have even told me, "Doctor, I cut out beef years ago because I thought it was making my arthritis worse." And in many cases, they were right. Conventional red meat can be high in unhealthy fats that stir up inflammation. But then there's grass-fed beef, a very different story. I often describe it as the difference between a cluttered, smoky fireplace that makes you cough and a clean, well-tended fire that warms your home without harm. Same concept, different quality, and the difference can change everything for your joints. One of my patients, Linda, a 64-year-old retired nurse, had always loved beef but gave it up after her arthritis diagnosis. She missed family cookouts and Sunday roasts, but she believed she was protecting her health. When I explained the science behind grass-fed beef, she cautiously reintroduced it into her diet once or twice a week. Not long after, she was surprised to find her joint stiffness less severe, her energy better, and her mood lifted because she could finally enjoy her favorite meals without guilt. What makes grass-fed beef such a unique ally in arthritis pain relief? The key lies in its natural fat profile. Unlike grain-fed beef, grass-fed animals eat a diet closer to what nature intended. This produces meat with higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA. Omega-3s, as we discussed with salmon, fight inflammation at the root, while CLA has been shown in studies to reduce markers of inflammation and even support a healthier immune system. Together, they act like a peacekeeping force inside the body, calming the storms that arthritis often triggers. Zinc is another quiet but powerful gift found in grass-fed beef. Imagine your joints as a road filled with potholes. Zinc is one of the materials the body uses to patch and repair those holes, supporting tissue repair and strengthening your defenses. Without enough zinc, healing slows and pain lingers longer than it should. A study in the Journal of Nutrition highlighted how zinc deficiency can worsen inflammation and impair the body's ability to repair tissue. A reminder that even small minerals can play a massive role in how we feel day to day. Another advantage of grass-fed beef is its leaner profile. It naturally contains less of the pro-inflammatory fats found in conventional red meat, which means you can enjoy the taste and satisfaction of beef without fueling the fire of arthritis. And taste is not a small matter here. When food is both healing and delicious, it becomes sustainable. Linda once told me, "For the first time, I don't feel like I'm on a restrictive diet. I feel like I'm eating for joy and for health." That balance is exactly what keeps people committed to long-term change. Of course, moderation matters. I usually recommend enjoying grass-fed beef once or twice a week, paired with colorful vegetables and whole grains. For example, a lean sirloin grilled alongside asparagus and sweet potatoes gives you not just protein and healthy fats, but also antioxidants and fiber that further tame inflammation. Ground grass-fed beef makes for a nourishing chili with beans and tomatoes. Or you can slow cook a chuck roast with carrots and herbs for a tender meal that fills your home with comforting aromas. Some of you may be thinking about the cost. Yes, grass-fed beef can be more expensive, but it doesn't need to be an everyday food. Think of it as an investment in your health, a premium ingredient you use thoughtfully. Buying in bulk, choosing ground cuts, or stretching it with beans and vegetables in soups and stews can make it more affordable. For many older adults, reintroducing grass-fed beef feels almost like reclaiming a part of their past. Meals once abandoned for fear of pain become joyful again. And that joy matters because when food nourishes both body and spirit, healing goes deeper than the joints. Arthritis may still be a companion on the journey, but with choices like grass-fed beef, it becomes a quieter, less demanding one. So if salmon is the firefighter and chicken the builder, think of grass-fed beef as the architect. It strengthens the framework, reinforces weak spots, and helps design a more resilient body. With every bite, you're not just eating, you're fortifying the very structures that carry you through life. And for many, that means returning to the table, not with fear, but with gratitude and pleasure. So here's the heart of it all. Arthritis does not get the final say in your life. Salmon, with its omega-3s and vitamin D, calms the flames of inflammation. Chicken, steady and lean, rebuilds and restores the strength of your joints. Grass-fed beef, rich in CLA and zinc, reinforces your body like an architect designing resilience. These are not just foods, they are allies, delicious, nourishing companions on your journey back to freedom. Remember, every small choice on your plate can echo through your body as hope, healing, and renewed independence. Stay encouraged, stay curious, and keep walking toward wellness.